Hey guys, it's CJ from Scarlet Rebels, and you're watching The Ryan Webb Show.
Hey, Ryan Webb here, and hope you're doing great. So here I have Chris Jones from the band Scarlet Rebels. He's the guitarist, songwriter, and also known as the long-haired rocker dude. What can I say? I can't wait to get into the guitars and amps that the man uses, and basically his pedal board setup and all that good stuff. And hopefully we get to hear what Scarlet Rebels are up to these days. So hopefully, you never know. So more about that coming during the chat. So if you are into such videos, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It would be really appreciated. So let's dive right in. Hey, ma'am, thanks for taking the time and having this chat with me. Hope you're well. So who is Chris Jones?
Like you said, he's the long-haired rocker dude from South Wales. I'm in a band called Scarlet Rebels. I joined the band about, going on for 4 years now in the summer. And it's been, going like that ever since COVID hit, and then it's gone like that. But yeah, we got our debut album came out in August of 2019, which was great. We also followed that up with a big tour then with our good friends Revival Black as well. That was in January of last year.
Yeah.
And recently we just finished, last month, just finished recording the follow-up to that album. So hopefully that'll be coming out in the next couple of months, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe. So we have to have that chat yet.
Cool stuff. I can't wait to get into those amplifiers, man. Just behind you, it looks so freaking cool. So what guitars do you use? On the debut album for. Let's start there. Was it all just one brand? Do you use different guitars for different songs? How does it work, man?
So mainly when we recorded the first album, I used mainly my Les Paul, which is right here. It's my Gibson Les Paul Classic.
Cool.
And then, yeah, so it's this is my baby. I also used one of my other Les Pauls as well, which is a it's a 2018 standard with a honeyburst top on it. So it's a lovely looking guitar. It's really, it looks like kind of Slash's Appetite Les Paul. It kind of got that color to it,
Yeah.
So I used that on a song called Heads in the Ground. I also used the talk box as well, which is pretty cool. But out of all the guitars I have, this just seems to be the one I always keep coming back to all the time. Everything about it just feels right. I've played a load of other guitar, or Les Pauls in this case, and it's nothing to me personally compares to it. Like, it's got a nice 60s neck on it. Nice. I like the thin necks. Like when I go into a thicker neck, I'm like, hands cramping up a little bit and whatever. But I think these might be jumbo frets, and I think I've just got used to it over the years,
Yeah.
And I've had this guitar about 10 years now, going on for 10 years.
Cool. Is it all stock, man?
No. So basically, the only I've changed one main thing on it, but I've also changed. My girlfriend actually got me a truss rod cover. If you can see that, my name.
Cool, man. That is awesome.
So I've always fancied one. It's just something quirky and make it your own personal thing,
Yeah.
The only other thing I've changed on it is the pickups.
Yeah.
I recently, I think it was September last year, October time, I got endorsed by Bare Knuckle Pickups.
Cool.
And originally they were obviously just burst buckers in this guitar, obviously when I had it. And then I tried out a set of Alnico 2s, and they were great, but I wanted something just not be like Slash kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not have the same style, the same sound, the same this. I just don't want to be that guy, So I'd look at Seymour Duncan and things like that, and I wanted to have a little change. And I thought, do you know what? And I found the site called Bare Knuckle Pickups, and British as well, which is great. And I talked to one of the guys and stuff, and I recently bought a set of Black Dog pickups, full set. So they got a bit more pronounced mid-range, a bit more punch through, as opposed to the stock. Obviously, you can hear a difference, can't you? you know. And recently, I've literally took them out and put a set of Bare Knuckle the Mule in, which is more of a PAF style humbucker. So they really sing. But at the moment, I think I prefer the sound of the bridge pickup on this guitar at the moment.
Yeah.
With the Mule, but I'm not so keen on the neck pickup for it.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to put the the Black Dog pickup neck pickup back in the guitar, because that was just it had a nice woody feel to it, and a really lovely sound. Everything just it was really sweet, you know.
Yeah.
But as for that, that's literally the only thing I've done with it.
Yeah.
Besides many a scratch and stuff and all that good stuff. You know? So it's pretty warm. So one of my other guitars, besides my Les Paul, which no one knows I actually have, it's a Gibson, obviously. But I had this in about November time last year, and I've always fancied one, right? And it's just your traditional Explorer.
Whoa, that is awesome, man! Freaking cool.
Yeah.
So, that is cool.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's got a brand new smell on it.
Yeah.
You can smell the finish, you know, it's so nice. I've always fancied one.
Yeah.
I've always fancied an Explorer, you know, it's just really different. Like, you know, it plays high and whatever.
Yeah.
But to play it is, it's right up there with the Les Paul, and she won't like her, but it's this has got jumbo frets on it because it's such a difference. But what a guitar it is to play! No one knows I got this. I haven't played it anywhere, but it's different. You know, I fancy something different.
Yeah.
And in here is the stock, burst bucket pickups that come on the Gibsons and stuff. You know, that is stock. It's literally as is.
Yeah.
So I might look into getting a set of bare knuckles in here. May go for something like a Holy Diver.
Yeah, cool.
Which is a brilliant setup anyway. So that's about it really. I get that, and this is actually on one of the albums. Actually, this is one of the songs on the album.
All right,
up, so,
cool.
What song is it on? Can't remember. But it's on a song anyway. Oh, I know. It's on one of the heavier songs. I do remember.
Yeah, you're going to get into trouble, man. Giving out more than you should.
But yeah, you know, it's a great guitar and it's lovely. And
cool.
It really something special, you know.
Cool. New album, new guitar, new sound. What can I say?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. Is there going to be like a signature set, man, anytime, you know, soon?
If I tell you what, if I ever got, you know, approached in that way, I wouldn't know what to say, you know, be like, oh my God, that's insane, you know. It's like, wow, I'd love to, but it'll probably take a lot of effort trying to find what's really sweet to you, how it works with certain amps and whatever. Will it sound great through every amp, or will it sound great just through one or two? You know, so that's the mystery of rock and roll, isn't it, I suppose.
So what brand of strings are you using on those, man?
Currently Ernie Ball.
Cool.
I've tried out Diodario before, but Ernie Ball has been literally 99.9% of the time. I've tried out the odd couple of different strings and that, and they just didn't feel right. You know, Ernie Ball is the guitar strings. Do you know what I mean? So, and it always has been. And it's nice. I'm not a guy that likes standard tuning, to be honest with you. I much prefer E flat, and I know certain guitars of mine suit D flat, some suit standard, some suit D, and so on, you know. But this guitar suits E flat better than anything else. It pains me to tune it up to E. You know, it's just like, it doesn't want to go there, you know. You know, so it's been Ernie Ball.
Yeah. So what gauge are you using on that, man? Are you on 10s?
Yeah, 10 gauge.
Yeah, cool.
I tried out with this guitar, actually. I tried out a set of 11s, and I've tried 9s also. and it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Like 9s are quite slinky and quite, I could snap these any second. And then the 11s are like, oh, really got to push hard to get these notes to bend, you know? So it just stayed at 10 all the way through, and that was it, you know? I didn't want to change anything else, but 10 gauge has always been my thing, so.
Yeah, cool. So what kind of picks do you use?
I'm using a brand called Snarling Dog, I think they're called.
All right, cool.
They're made by a company called Brain, I believe. That's what the actual says on it. I have to try and find one somewhere. Hang on. Oh, there you are. This one's, well, as you can see, I've kind of mangled that one.
Cool. That's a genuine kind of shredder's pick, man.
Look at that.
Cool.
No, basically, it's a 0.73 mil, so quite standard, I think.
Yeah.
Made by a company called Brain. And it's got a nice grip on the end as well. So obviously when you're sweating like hell in your gig and going crazy and stuff, having that grip really, really helps. It's, you know, I've dropped many a pick over in a gig and stuff like that, and had to smash your fingers on the strings before. And I've done that. But you know, they never fail me. I am endorsed by another company. Yeah. But I haven't actually looked into it yet. Of purchasing a set of picks from them just yet, because I always seem to be, oh, this is great. I always go back to the default, you know. Yeah. So I've used Dunlop in the past as well, but they got this weird plasticky kind of feel. It doesn't feel like me. It doesn't feel nice in my hand, you know. It's like I feel like I'm gonna drop it all the time, you know. So but they're great.
Cool, man. So basically, you know, your Gibson and your main Marshalls, I'm guessing that is like your main setup, and whatever is in between, whether it's a big, I'm not sure whether you got a massive pedal board setup or not, but I want to get into those amps right now, man. So right from the top, I think that's a JCM 800 right on top there.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah, man,
that's
cool.
Yeah, that's literally my flagship amp, if you want to call it. It's my go-to amp and stuff, and especially with this guitar, it's just hand in glove, you know, perfect rock and roll tone, you know, overall. It's an absolute great amplifier. I had that for my birthday about 3 years. It's a reissue. It's 20.
All right.
I think it's a 2018 model. So I had that for my birthday a couple of years ago, and it's been with me ever since. It's been up and down the country on albums, EPs, etc., all over the place, and it's just what a workhorse this amplifier is. You know, I couldn't ask for anything better. Marshall literally outdone themselves by that. Yeah. And then the one below it, then I recently got this. I think it was 21 now, me. So just the end of 2019, early 2020. And that's also a reissue. One day I'll get hold of an original and probably blow the house up using it. But it's an amazing amp in its own right. Yeah. You know, just the Plexi is just the name Plexi is the original, you know, kind of amplifier, you know. And it's amazing. It really is great. Personally, I'm leaning towards the JCM. It just it's nice to have it. It's got its own preamp gain as well. That's always helpful. Yeah. You know, with the Plexi, it doesn't have that, and it needs that full blast to get it to sing, you know. Yeah. Which I still haven't done yet. So
so would you say the JCM is pretty much what we hear on the debut album?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's the main one. When we were recording the second album, late last year, I did take the Plexi, but Tim, our producer, also had an original Plexi from the 70s, I think, and it was probably more AC/DC than AC/DC, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So we used that, and it was a powerhouse. It was diamond, you know, it was maxed out. So I will get my hands on one day. Yeah. And it's that amplifier is brilliant, and I kind of like the look of it as well. It's just plain and simple. That's what you know. When I was looking at different Marshalls and things, I was looking at the JVM 410, obviously the Plexi and the JCM. They were my three I wanted to really have a look at. Yeah. obviously you can't test a plexi in the shop because
Yeah.
you'll kill everybody in sight. But you kind of had a rough idea what it sounded like anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it was going to be loud and it was going to be rock and roll, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
But I looked at that. This one obviously came later, but I looked at the JVM. I thought, well, it'd be great to have a JVM because of all the extra features it's got. It's got like a reverb on it, and it's got a boost section already built in, so I don't need to go and buy a boost pedal or reverb pedals or anything extra.
Yeah.
Which is great for the long run of things. Oh, great, just press the button and it's there, you know. So that's easy. But I wanted something original and old school. I love it. I love the amp. Don't get me wrong, but it was the dials that put me off. It just, I think it's about, I think 16 or
maybe,
or 24 dials, 32 dials.
Yeah, it's like one on top of the other, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the Black Star here. You
of
know,
course.
Dials,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know, I just wanted something simple. I wanted literally your basic EQ, master, and your gain, and that was it. And I let if I got some pedals, I could let them do the rest of the work and things, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, the JCM is the main amp. So
yeah, cool. So do you ever use the Black Star?
Not anymore. It's
okay.
it's retired now. So I haven't got it with me today, but I got the Black Star Series 1 45 watt combo amp.
Yeah.
Which is honestly amazing. My old guitar teacher Mark, he had one. He kind of turned me on to when I was first starting out, I suppose, you know, 10 or so years ago now. He had one. I really liked the look of it because it was modern and kind of, you know, it just looked cool. It really did. I really liked the look of it. And then I went down the Black Star route then. It's like, oh yeah, if I'm gonna rock and roll, I'm gonna want a head and cab, wouldn't I? So I went and got a head and cab. And personally, it's the clean sound is amazing. It's really something special, a clean sound on that. Obviously, with the dirty Marshalls, you got to roll your volume off and go that route, you know, because it doesn't really clean as such, you know. Even though it has a low gain setting, but it's not really built for that, you know. So the Black Star, you know, it's a great amp in its own right. That's got KT88 valves in it, which
cool.
Fat, I mean heavy valves, and that's what gives that headroom and makes it really push through, especially in a mix or recording, even live situation. It's just, it's there and you know it's there kind of thing, you know. It's an amazing amp, but because I kind of when I first started out, I was like, I like Black Star and whatever. I didn't want to be the Marshall guy because everyone's got a Marshall. And as you progress and get older, you're thinking, oh, I should get a Marshall, shouldn't I? You know, you got a Les Paul. You don't need Les Paul and Black Star. You need Les Paul and Marshall. You know, that's just,
it's the right combination, man. Perfect.
It's rock and roll, isn't it? You know? So yeah, I got a Marshall and I haven't turned back. Really, you know?
Cool, man. So what is your signal path like? You know, guitar to, do you have like a set of pedals, or is like a very compact pedal board? What is your setup, man?
So I do have my pedal board here. I actually took 2 pedals out because I wanted to show you them, but I can put them back in and show you the board anyway. So basically, going guitar, pedals into the effects loop of the Marshall. That's I forgot to say, that's the bonus of having, I suppose, reissued Marshalls. Because the originals never had effects loops on them. So you know, as true as it was, you know, plug in and turn it up and play, which is amazing. It's a real bonus than having to buy an extra pedal or 2 to try and make it go through the effects loop and so on, you know. But yeah, you know, effects loop into the Marshall and then out to the cabs. And I got a 1960A and a 1960B cab, so I have a full stack Marshall basically.
Blow the place up, man.
So I got my my pedal board here. Give me 2 seconds. I'll put these in for you, and then I'll take you through it then. So hopefully these won't fall out now. You know what it's like. Right, okay. So at the moment, I've got these are my pedals.
Cool, man. That is a decent setup, man. It's so
So
clean. It's so
I know,
neat,
right? So
freaking neat, man.
I know I got a bit of OCD, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, same
Um,
here.
you know,
That looks awesome, man.
so it's a bit awkward to see, I know, but you
Yeah,
know that's pretty much the gist of it.
yeah,
So basically, I'm I know people are going to say I've got my tuner in the wrong place because I I've had people say, oh, why is your tuner there? And whenever it's just easy, I just
yeah,
prefer it there. It doesn't really make a difference. I know you should have it as your number one because it's the
yeah,
cleanest signal coming in,
yeah,
but a wah is just as clean anyway. So
yeah,
and for this board in particular, I couldn't put the wah anywhere else
yeah,
because it's the longest thing on the board. And if I put it in the middle, I'd have to shift that and shift this, and then it'd make everything really awkward. And I'd
yeah,
be like, oh, I can't cope, you know? So basically, I've just gone in from, I got the slash wah.
yeah.
Not, he's got two wahs out. He's got one with a
Is that a
distortion
fill?
circuit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's got something like that in it, which is
yeah,
pretty cool. I
yeah,
might get one actually and give it a try. But this is like the one he uses now. It's got quite a mid-range good scoop on it in a way. Really,
yeah,
I know wow, cuts. It's different. I'm not sure what the frequency range is, but it's definitely different to the standard Crybaby. But I'm not sure if I got a bit of an issue with it because every time I go to the heel,
yeah,
it might be even my pickups possibly that it really it dies out kind of thing, really dies in like
yeah,
kind of thing. It's really I'm not sure if that's an issue or might have to tweak something or whatever.
yeah.
But the top end on it, it sizzles. It's great. So yeah, basically that. So through the front end of the amp, I got my wah into my distortion pedals
Yeah,
and drive pedals. I got a noise suppressor which I don't really use anymore. I used to use it all the time, which is a Boss NS2.
yeah,
just your standard, and then out to your TU3 then tuner.
yeah.
So that's
Sorry,
what I'm
man.
running.
So what drive pedals are you using there?
Right, so I'll show you now. Let me peel them off.
I'm messing up your pedal board, man.
I know, man. No, it's good, man. So, in fact, both of these I had one for Christmas,
Yeah,
and then I had one for my birthday last week. So, off my lovely girlfriend. Anyway, so first off, I got the Rev.
cool.
It's hard
Oh
to
man,
notice.
yeah, that is awesome.
So
Yeah,
it's a Rev GU3. Sorry, G3.
yeah,
And that it's the second, or actually might be the first pedal in their range of pedals. They've only just started making them. And it's based off the Rev Generator 120 amplifier.
yeah,
That's what it's based off. So the channels on there
yeah,
obviously are the pedals now, you know.
yeah,
So I fancied something because originally I had a tube screamer. If you can probably see in the corner up there, I got
oh yeah,
a couple of pedals on the side there on my old Line 6 amp. I can't speak of that because that's illegal in rock and roll now. But yeah, I got a couple of other pedals up there. I'll show you a couple after anyway.
cool, man.
So yeah, this one was I wanted a bit of a change because I had a tube screamer. You know,
Yeah,
it was a limited edition in red. It was actually, and in fact, I'll show it to you now.
cool.
Grab a couple now. There you go. It's like I'm doing a shop here. So I've gone through quite a few pedals. I'll go on about the red ones in a minute because they're my latest and my favorites now.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'll carry on actually. So yeah, the purple one is you definitely built for more high gain things.
yeah,
You know, originally I used to have when I was starting out was a Black Star HT metal pedal.
yeah,
Remember that with the valve in it?
yeah.
And that was insane. That was like, it still to this day is the best pedal I've ever owned. It really was. It was.
Do you still have
fantastic.
it though?
I don't have it here. It's in my house, but
Yeah,
it's been battered to bits. The bloody you know, the dials come off, the knobs come off, it's all scratched and smashed up and stuff. So it's been through the works. But the bonus of that was because it had your rhythm and your lead channel, and it had the you know, sometimes you can get volumes on the volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does one side and then the other does the other one. So I had that, and that was honestly amazing. It was just so perfect. And I still haven't been able to replicate that with all the pedals I've had over the years. So, but you find new things, new tones, new things you like. You know, I've noticed over the last couple of years, I've been changing the settings on my amp on the Marshall.
Yeah.
And I used to keep the presence quite low anyway, because in fact the presence on Marshalls are quite harsh anyway. I think they've got some, I can't remember what the word is, but some special thing, treble booster type thing, actually soldered onto the pot itself.
Cool.
I can't remember what it's called, but that's obviously what makes it more harsh and in your face. You take that off, you get a lot more mid-range and lower end. You know, so the modern Marshalls are quite harsh. You got to tame them somehow. But the JCM, I used to run the bass on flat out. It used to be on 10. Right. The mids are always been at 12 o'clock. And then the treble once again has always been around 6 and 7. You know, and I think now in fact, nothing's overly changed that much. I've actually rolled the gain off slightly more now to make more headroom for the pedal, so it's not fuzzy anymore. You know, and I've also backed the bass off because it's coming out with the pedal, so it's trying to balance the two of them together. You know, but it's worked out well, and obviously different environments, different sounds. You know, I'm in the studio now, and this is quite a bass heavy room. I'm playing in here, and it's quite bass heavy, so you see me putting the treble up or things like that, you know. And then using the cabs, obviously there's quite a significant difference between the Marshall A and Marshall B cabs. A, obviously the angle cab, but it's a lot more mid-range and top end. And then you got the bass cab, which is the bass cab effectively. I know it's the bottom, but it's got a lot more lower frequencies in there. And it's nice when you blend the two, you get the full spectrum, don't you? So it currently is in my garage in the house, and because I got nowhere else, I can't keep them in the bedroom because it'll kill people and kill myself. It won't even fit through the door probably. But it's I definitely prefer the angled cab. In fact, the lower left bottom speaker of the angled cab, I don't know why. It just seems when you're above the brick in the cab, you're obviously getting that harsh bits hitting you in the head and in the heat and stuff like that. And for some reason, every time I kind of get under that break, that bend bit in the cab, it's nice to feel like the lower end in there as well. So it's not all just harsh and abrupt in your face, you know, especially when it's loud. It's just crazy, isn't it? You know? But yeah, that's the Marshalls anyway. But I had a few pedals and things. Some I've collected over the years. This is the one I was on about the other day. This is the Tube Screamer. My girlfriend got me this as well.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it's wicked. It's a great pedal. I really strongly suggest having a look. It's not a high gain pedal, obviously. It's just your it just gives you that kick of overdrive, just to give a nice breakup and stuff like that, you know. But for me personally, when I was using it was really great. But I know for myself, I've over the years, well, last 3 years of using the JCM, the valves are actually starting to die out after a period of time. And you know, you can hear that and you think, oh, it's losing a bit of what it had. You know, so I'm gonna have to get them changed because I literally gigged it straight for about 3 years. So I think it's well due a change, you know. But yeah, once you start tweaking your pedals, pushing them harder and harder, then you know you're thinking, oh, hang on, something's obviously going wrong or something's depleting somewhere because you're pushing something harder and harder every time to get the sound right, you know. So yeah, it was kind of one of those moments. I obviously have to change the valves at some point, but it was getting to the point with the Tube Screamer, it wasn't enough gain. It was just the really nice sound, but it wasn't enough to really make like scream, like a nice, really good solo sound and stuff. So I wanted to think, right, if I get a high gain pedal, then I'll obviously have that big headroom of gain if I wanted to play with and whatever, you know. So then I acquired the Rev, done a lot of research and things like that. You know what it's like with pedals and stuff. And it's great, as you can see with the gain. It's
crazy, man.
9 o'clock. It's literally 9 o'clock. It's really low. Like you'd expect it to be there. You know. You know. So the bonus with this pedal is it's got a little aggression mode here in the middle there.
Yeah.
So you got off is in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you got blue mode, which is up, and then red mode, which is down. And off is just the plain and simple sound. Yeah. And then you push up. I prefer the blue mode actually because it's got a lot more pronounced mid range. And it's
more crunchy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I can't explain it. It just suits me better. Yeah. My ears prefer that sound rather than the when it's off. When it goes to red, it fattens up the bottom end. Yeah. And for me personally, it's just a little bit too low. It's just a little bit too harsh and whatever. So that's that one. But then I've moved on to, and I always like this one, not just because it's green, but it's basically the drive pedal version of the G3.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So they're wicked and they kind of look cool together, don't they?
Yeah.
So obviously the purple one being the higher gain and the green being the drive. So it's this one is kind of a souped up tube screamer in a way. It's got a hell of an amount of gain, but it's not too harsh. Like you can really crank the gain up if you wanted to, but it's a nice sweep in it. So it's not, when you turn the gain up, it gets really fuzzy and messy. It's not one of those sounds, you know? It's just nice and subtle. It's there if you need the extra gain, which you probably don't anyway.
Cool.
And it's the same features as the other one, but except it's got drive there instead of aggression because it's the lower gain circuit in the pedal. Obviously you got blue and the red modes as well. I like this one off, to be honest. It's just now I've only used it for a week.
Yeah.
And
all right.
It's now my kind of a rhythm sound.
Cool.
I want to say it's just the sound that's better for me. You know, it just really suits it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's great. And then I got loads of bed with it.
So do you think you'll ever get into trying out one of the Rev amplifiers, man?
Ooh, I'd like to.
Yeah.
But I think I could probably hear my Marshalls crying right now. Like it's wincing in my ear, you know. Oh, please don't, you know. I'd like to try one. I'm up for trying all amps. I've tried out a couple of orange amps before.
Cool.
And they're real metal amplifiers. You know, you see a lot of big bands using them, metal amps.
Yeah.
And I found we used to use one back in when we were in uni and in college and stuff. And personally, I found them to be a little bit too bass bottom heavy because they are quite grungy amplifiers. Even if you crank it up, it gets quite muddy. Yeah. So for me personally, it wasn't the amp I'd ever go for. You know, they're great amps in their own right, but only for a certain thing.
Yeah.
You know, like they got a lovely clean sound. I remember that. But yeah, try that out. But I'd like to give a try of the Rev, the G120.
Yeah.
But when I'll get the chance to do that, I don't know. But I wouldn't go out my way and buy one right now, really, because I don't need to, because I got the pedals. That's what it's replicating, and I find that a lot easier. So I can blend it with them then, and find something cool. You know.
So what's going to the FX loop on the Marshalls, man? What pedals are they?
Okay, so back to the pedal board again. So I'm a big MXR fan.
Cool.
Right, so going from left to right, right to left for you probably. We got the green one in the middle there.
Yeah.
which is the delay pedal.
Yeah.
So that's the first in the effects loop. And then we go into the reverb. I've had a little bit of issues with this one. I think it might be the I got the pedal power 2 plus power under the board, like, you know, under there.
Yeah.
So it might be that being a little bit faulty now and again, or a certain power thing. But every time I put the 9-volt adapter in, it was just doing that. It was just flashing.
All right. Yeah.
For some reason, obviously it must be lack of power or something.
Yeah.
To really get it going. So it must be, to me, it must be more than 9-volt. But I think it can run 9 and 18 volts, or you know, in between that.
Yeah.
So, but somehow I managed to fix it. It hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit of luck. Anyway, then we got the chorus pedal then, which is, I love the chorus pedal. It is truly amazing. I went for this one because it's nice to have a little bit more, you know, things to try out. You've got the highs and low frequency range and things and whatever, and then you got your density and your level and the rate of the effect.
Yeah.
And it's just great. Obviously they're my settings at the moment.
Yeah.
And then obviously this was, I think, my first ever pedal I ever had.
Cool, man.
And you can tell I'm a lead guitarist because it's a boost pedal. Right.
So do you is there a compressor on that board, man? No. All right.
I never have. I've looked into getting one or two to see which one's better, but I've never. Well, right now I haven't got the room for one anyway.
Yeah.
But I've never really put much thought into it.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what, you know, overdrives I like, what distortions I like.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to go through that phase, you know, for the last 10 years. But but yeah, I tell you what, this boost pedal is brilliant. It's really great because not only is it you can use it as a subtle boost for, like, you know, add a little bit more gain to your amp if you wanted to, or make it cut through the mix, but it's genuinely for me a boost pedal for solo. That's the only reason I use it for. And obviously for the clean channel, because obviously you lose a lot of volume when you roll back the volume on your Les Paul, and then, you know, knock the distortions off. It really drops, doesn't it? So I turn that on for the clean section, and you know, it's great, and it's lovely when it's nice to hear it cut through quite nicely. You know, I've had many an argument with with producers and live sound engineers and things like, oh, turn the boost down, turn it down, whatever. I'm like, shut up. You know, you don't tell a guitarist to turn it down. You know.
So when you're tracking, especially for, you know, on the debut album, do you commit? So do you use your pedal board, your whole Marshall setup, and do you actually commit to the recordings, or do you do a DI as well and come back to it? How does it work, man?
To be honest, I'll go off the last two albums.
Yeah.
It has been through the board and into the amp and out into a cab and the computer and so on, into the desk and whatever. That's always the way I've done it, really. Yeah. You know, unless I'm in the studio now, I'll use that and put it through my Torpedo 2 notes captor.
Cool.
And which is amazing. And it's a DI box attenuator and everything like that. It's just a cool thing in one box, like, you know. So, like, for recording purposes in the house and stuff, I just put it through that. I can't sit in front of a cab and as great as it sounds, you just can't take it when you're in the studio, like, so. But yeah, it's just been through the pedals, you know. And if you do an acoustic, then you use and try another amp or something, or you want a particular clean sound, you wouldn't really go with a Marshall. You find, like, you know, a Vox AC30 or something, which is got probably the nicest clean sounds ever. Yeah. Or something like that, or Fender Twin even, which is very bright, but it's a lovely amplifier in its own right.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you kind of record any guitar parts in your studio there, and does it land on the, you know, the album, or, you know, layering or stuff like that?
No, I don't. I do like my own demos, you know, if I'm like guitar parts for the album, or we usually go down to a producer down in Llanelli, Sonic One Studios, Tim Hamill. Yeah. We've always gone there, and so the boys have always gone there even before I joined the band, and this is only my second album with the guys. But for me, I'd like to go to new places and try out new producers and new studios, new gear. You get that complete different experience, and you get a complete different sound as well. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you doing it in your house yourself, you'll like make it sound good to you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it probably doesn't sound very good to a producer.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. So you know, producers shape an album.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, I'd love more control in the studio. You know, sometimes I get someone saying like, "Oh, don't use that. I use this. Don't use that. I use this." I'm like, "Well, I want to use this, and this is for me, for my album, for my guitar parts." You know, so yeah, you know, there is that in there and things like that. But in the studio, I just literally, like I said, go through the amp sim, which is great because the 2 notes comes with about 16 amp simulators. You know, they got the Marshall 4x12, and then you got the 2x12, you got a Vox AC30 in there, Blackstar. I haven't got the rights to use it as such, but they call it something like VX30, and you know what that is. You know what I mean? So so that's how I record in the house, you know, through Logic on the DAW and things, and just do it that way, really.
Cool. So would it be okay to chat a little bit about what Scarlet Rebels are up to these days? You know, new music as the direction changed, or, you know, anything like that? Any a little bit of interesting news?
Obviously, for legal reasons, I can't say too much.
Yeah.
But obviously, when COVID hit, they put everything and everyone on a downer, you know, with the industry and stuff. And when things were going like that, when the album came out, you think, oh, I do want this to end. I want to keep going forever and a day.
Yeah.
And it's always exciting when you're recording an album, and then I much prefer, I'm a live guy. I much prefer whatever I do live. I don't, unless I'm on my own in the studio, I don't like going down the studio and sitting down and playing my parts into the computer, you know. I'd rather be in the live room, all 5 of us or 4 of us or whoever, and play like you're in a show, you know, like real. Well, a lot of bands do that. AC/DC are main for that, and they play live all the time, you know.
Yeah.
I much prefer that myself, but for the Scarlet Rebels, the new album, we're still in the process of naming it and things, where we haven't come to a decision on that yet. Got to go through the label, got to, you know, sending them drafts of the order of the song list, the song titles and stuff like that. You know, we've recorded a good few, about 15 songs in total. I'm not sure what the exact plan is, if we're going to do a 10-track album, 12, or even a full 15. The last one we done was, was it? Might have been 14 songs in total.
Yeah.
And we done 12 on the album, but the 2 were bonus tracks.
Cool.
That's what we did there. So that was just the way it went, really.
Yeah.
But for the new album, with you know, we had a little bit more. Even though we didn't have much time to get it done, it had to be done by the end of last year.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know, but it just had to be done by then anyway. So it was rushed, as in we had to write songs quick.
Yeah.
But the songs, when you hear them, they don't sound rushed or anything like that, you know. But it was definitely a quicker experience in writing. I have to, you know, get this down, so on, so on. So, but with the new album, you can see, or hear rather, people's influences. You know, like Wayne, you know, he's a big fan of Springsteen, and Bon Jovi, and people like that.
Yeah. And
from a lyricist and a vocal point of view. And then Josh, he's really into his like you know, 90s bands, you know, like REM and other bands like that, etc.
Cool.
And he's great. And Josh is awesome with blues as well, likes his blues and things. So we kind of bounce off each other when we're rehearsing things, which is cool. And then another avenue, I'm just literally all rock and roll. I'm just, it's not much more
rock and
rock and
roll
roll
than
than that, is it? So it's, and I've wrote a couple of songs on this latest album, and it's different from what the boys are used to. Like not me and Josh now, I mean like Wayne, Gary and Pricey, because of they've been in a band for 15, 20 years and doing the one thing, great songs in their own right and things like that, but they haven't branched out of that.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So when I joined the band, I brought that I brought the rock and roll to it, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's who I am. That's the player I am. That's who I want to be. So you can definitely hear each other's influences on there. You think, oh, that's a rock and roll song. Chris has probably had a big influence in that one. Or that's a little bit softer. Josh has done something in that one. So it's definitely like that with this album. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's basically you wait for the album to come out and see how you guys bounce, ideas off each other, and see how, at the end of the day, you got an album, and that's an amazing thing, man. I think that is pure rock and roll there, if you know what I mean. So, while working on the album and the debut album as well, do you have any kind of tips and tricks you would like to share with other guitarists, that what to do and what not to do while tracking and recording and all that stuff?
For me, I get more nervous unless I'm on my own, obviously. Like I said, in the studio, sitting there, you're like that with your guitar, and producers listening, because producers obviously, pick apart every little thing you do until it's perfect, and they push you and push you and push you until you're driving, you gone mad, right? And even though I've played to a couple of thousand people before, and I find that less daunting than being in the studio.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're being, do this performance to the best of your ability and shine, basically, and it's a bit daunting when it's just the band, even though you play with the same 5 guys all the time. You've got them sitting there on the sofa drinking tea, and they're judging me. I'm like, what if I balls up here and do it again? My main tip would be, don't go half-assed into it. Go, I've learned from experience with the last 2 albums, I've done the same thing, and the product is turned out great. The music is great, and it's turned out great. But for me personally, I'd rather, like I said, you feel the energy and run around and feed off each other. I'm that kind of guy, I'd rather, even when I look at writing songs, I'm thinking, oh, that's a cool sequence or cool riff or whatever. I'm thinking, right, how can I get people to bounce now? Naturally, naturally mosh kind of thing, naturally go to it. So that's the way I aim to write songs. And that's the, I like to say it's come out that way. We'll soon find out when the album comes out. But tips and tricks, be prepared. That's literally the main one, I think. Don't do what I do. I'd be
learn your part.
Learn your part. And I've always been, I'm a really good improviser and things like that. So I'm, when you're in the zone, you're really in the zone. But, sometimes you sit in there and you got nothing.
Yeah.
Writer's block is not just for lyrics, it's for any instrument, And I'm sure you've been there before. You're thinking, oh, how can I get these people to sing to this? Is this a cool lyric? Does this work out? Does this?
Yeah.
And it's so many things. You're trying to make the best sounding track in the world. You're trying to make the best song in the world, do the best solo ever.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just doesn't go to plan. Sometimes it doesn't. You just, like I said, be prepared. And, just with improvising, I've always loved my scales and chords and stuff. But when I first started playing guitar, my teacher, Zoe, she always taught me how to play scales.
Yeah.
And that was literally the first thing I knew. I started to learn. She used to write it out on a piece of paper and the tabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Right, this is major, so on, so on, so on.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned. And I wanted to do. Most people learn guitar with chords first.
Yeah.
You know, G, D, A, C, C,
Yeah.
A minor, F, and G. The first ever sequence you learn.
Yeah.
You know, and I never did that. I just did scales, and I wanted. She could see in me that he wants to solo and he wants to rock, and that. I know I started playing guitar when quite late. I say late on in life. I'm 27 now, but when I started playing when I was 14.
Yeah, cool.
Roughly, and I went for my first lesson and whatever, and it just progressed ever since. I've done my guitar grades in the process of that. I done the RGT grades. Are you familiar with them?
No, not really, man.
No. Well, have a look at them. They
cool.
You really will learn a lot in there.
Yeah.
It's not just. Obviously it's guitar playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot of theory and things like that. Theory's never been my strong point. I've always I can go on the guitar. Well, now because after years of doing it, I can go on the guitar now. I'm like, oh, well, you just know where the keys are. You know where D is or across the fretboard or something like that. You know. But doing the grades really helped me, and even I was on grade 1, and I remember looking back, and I said, "Oh, sorry, can you show me grade 5?" Right, grade 5 now. From grade 1 to 5 is a massive jump, right? And the first page I turned to was the scales. And I was like, "Oh, look at that!" I was literally like, "Oh my god, I want to learn this. Can we do this now? Can we skip the other 4?" And it was showing you, like, for example, like the F pentatonic minor scale, the rock scale, right, in 5 different places across the neck and stuff, which is, some people, when you suddenly get trapped in that box and you just, whatever, and you're stuck in that one position, and then you jump up to the 5th position and you ride up on the 11th and 12th frets and things, and 13th fret actually. But, it's nice to know the knowledge of, you haven't got to stay there. You can also move up and so on. It's nice to have that range,
Yeah.
So that was what I was super excited about. So went from preliminary grade, which is like pre-grade, which is basic chords and scales and things. Grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I done my 6, 7, and 8 all in the same year, right? So I was really into it at the time. And the difference between 6, 7, and 8 was dramatic. You were learning crazy chords like minor 7 flat 5 and C major 9 and minor 9ths and other jazzy chords. I love my jazz, I really do. So it's handy to know those things, but grade 7 was horrible. It really wasn't a nice exam to play. I got through it. Well, it was the same as any other exam to me. I just, I've got to do it. I've got to pass the exam. That's got to be the right mindset. And then obviously grade 8 then was the icing on the cake. It was just like in fact, grade 7 was harder than grade 8. It was just that little bit. There's your 3-octave G major scale, 3-octave natural minor scale, and stuff like that. Chromatic scales, and the 3 octaves. That's what basically made it grade 8 for some reason.
Yeah.
After that, I then went up to London and done my diploma of the London College of Music. That was the exam. Still with RGT, still with the same exam board, but they have the full spectrum of exams. They do teaching diplomas and other things as well. So they've got 4 like diploma grades, if you want to call it that. Above grade 8 grades kind of thing, So you've got the diploma, which is effectively grade 9, if you want to call it. Then, which is you learn songs. So I done Still Got the Blues by Gary Moore. One of my favorite guitar players. I wish I got to see him because obviously he died before I ever really started playing as such. But we then Still Got the Blues, and you had to not make it like the original, like what Gary Moore does. You had to change it up, keep the same rhythm and things like that, the chords, and follow it and whatever, but add a little bit more of the but add the diddle 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 diddle, you know, just make it a little bit more musical than what it already was. And that's pretty much the same up till, well, grade 13, if you want to look at it like that. I'm only going in numbers, basically. Grade, I don't know, diploma, grade 10, 11. Oh, right, sorry, it would be grade 11, actually. But it's not called that. I'm just saying that for, it's just easier to follow. So the second exam, which I also done up in London, was the associate of the London College of Music.
Yeah.
And we had two examiners. Well, I had two examiners, you know, people on me then. But I went in there, you know, my dad took me up to London. It was pretty daunting, you know, you're out of your comfort zone. You just, well, I'm in London, okay, the big city and whatever. And you go into this exam, and at the time I had this giant pedal board. Yeah. Like, I mean, it must have been 6 feet long, right? So this guy taking it out the car, you know, like that long ways because he wouldn't fit in the car. And, you know, taking that in, I have my Black Star pedal, some of my other pedals I got here now, and just like, they probably thought, what the hell is this guy doing? That's what they thought. You know, they gave me this little crappy little amp as well. You just really, how am I supposed to sound good with that? Do you know? But you make it work. You make do with what you got, don't you? And so luckily I had all these pedals to just help me out a bit. If I went straight in, I'd be like, oh my God. And then you instantly, for some reason, your standards drop. You're like, oh, I'm not very good. I'm sorry, I suck. You know, whatever. But you're used to your own gear, you know.
And then they say, put the pedal board away. Put the pedal board away.
Like, you know, you're using someone else's guitar. Like, you know, if I gave you my Les Paul now, I know you could play it really easy. It's just, it's not your feel, it's not your style, it's not your type. You're like, it's a great guitar, but like, you feel limited for some reason. I'm like that. I play like, I've actually played this Instigate Schecter.
Cool.
It's a lovely guitar. Not personally for me. But and I find the neck crazy fast as well. But I'm just like, what do I do with this? How do I play this guitar? You know, it's not your A and G and D kind of rocking guitar. It's your shreddy guitar, isn't it? But anyway, so I went in there with the exam, and you know, one older guy doing the writing and saying, right, can you play this, this, and this, or whatever, you got prepared. And the other guy he's there on his PRS actually, and I went in there somewhat, hate to say cocky, you know, but I was really, really confident when I went in there. In fact, I'd done Steve Vai's For the Love of God. Actually, I noticed the gem behind it. So I done that, and once again with that exam, you had to like make that somewhat a little different than the original. So you know, maybe do an octave lower or a couple more little licks here and there. And things like that. And so I got through that, and then we're doing a couple of scales and chords. I can't remember exactly, but I was in there with such confidence. I thought, you're teaching me. I wasn't. You know, they make you like seem really afraid. You got two examiners on you, and the pressure's on you to do that performance, isn't it? And I was so confident. I was just glowing. Really, I was just like, I'm going to go in there and show you how I play guitar. You know, that's just the mindset I was in. It was just it was a great experience. But that's for that exam. But I haven't done any more since now. The licentiate, then it's harder. Then you start doing. I know there's a couple of. Basically, actually, it's all metal guitarists, really. Most of them are. You got Steve Vai's in there. You've got why Metallica's in there. I don't know. Orion's the song that's in there. Malmsteen's in there.
All right.
Is it Far Beyond the Sun? I think.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I think it's that one. And you get a list basically. You got to go. But you can choose one or two songs you want to do and make them a little different than they are. So I'll have a look at that coming. That's the licentiate, but there's more to it now. You've got to do character, score basically.
All right.
So that's the last coming in, and then the final exam is you got to do a 2,500 character score of a piece of music.
Yeah.
Effectively, you got to write the music and compose it, and make sure the crotches, quavers, timing, everything is there, like you see a piece of music. So that's a real big step for me. I just never done that before, so I haven't got to it yet.
Cool, man.
That's the tail of the exams, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, this has been absolutely amazing, man. I can't thank you enough for taking the time and having this chat with me. So before we end this, do you want to give a shout out to any of your endorsees or your fans, and basically what are you up to right now, kind of thing?
Yeah, it's just it's a shame we can't gig at the moment, but chin up, and I'm sure we'll get out there again soon. And big up to Marshall Amps. Give me an endorsement, yeah,
Cool.
that'd be nice. But I want a custom amp. And bare knuckle pickups are, making for me the best pickups money can buy, especially at a really good rate as well, because some pickup companies are great pickups, but they really charge as well. So it's an honor to be endorsed by bare knuckle. It's my first ever endorsement.
Yeah.
And hopefully many more to come in the future.
Cool, man. So thanks again, and I can't thank you enough. I keep saying thank you quite a few times because I'm strange. So take care, man, and I hope to catch you, sometime soon with your new music coming out, and do let me know what's happening, and take care, man.
Cheers, dude. Thank you very much for having me.